Alright, within about 2 right there. Alright. Alright, within 2 there. For casting quarter turn pivot, we're doing pretty good. Alright, we're done with the first side of the first collar here, and you can see that we created a cylindrical bore all the way through the braze buildup on that back lip on the outside. And that was the most importance on this one here. There wasn't any material really gone off of the that minor diameter of the bore in there. And we gave a little bit of a clean face along this interface in here, just to make sure we didn't have any buildup of flux and stuff stuck in there. Alright, this is ready to come out, and we're going to put the next one in. Alright, here's the second one, looking at the large brass buildup. And this is the one that lost a lot of that diameter. Alright, there's a look at the braze from the inside on that lower support, pivot support, and you can see you know, we got reasonable buildup, and you can see how much in that one area there, how far it was worn into the housing. Alright, we're done in the 4-jaw here. We're going to move these parts into the 3-jaw smaller south bin for second operation setup. This lathe shakes around a little bit because we have it on a wooden floor, which is barely a floor at all. We're just sneaking up on this and just bringing this face right down to the finished match blend to the original face there. That. Yeah, we're just starting to skip the casting right there. We'll go ahead and cut a chamfer there, and we'll take a skim cut on the way out, and if we kind of clean that, we'll be fine. Alright, oh yeah, okay. Roll it around, and this is the outside of the extremely worn hub. And that was the finish that we got on the outside. It was a little light right here, but we broke in the chamfer right there, and it's going to have a brand new collar on the shaft that comes up against that surface right there. Should be more than adequate. We're going to live with that. Okay, we just finished dressing and reaming the other hole on our first carriage member here. This is the upper one. So this one actually handles the arbor with the saw blade on it, and of course we got a nice true path. I can feel just a real light drag when it enters the second bearing. It's going to be an excellent fit. Alright, let's go for the other one. Alright, looks like we got 4 really good Babbitt bearings, and we got 2 pieces of shafting that are ready to have keys and threads and a diameter to press on the saw backing plates, and drill in some zerk holes, create some grease grooves, and just about wrapped up. Alright, the question was brought to us, what reamer size were we using? The reamer was a stock 1.5-inch reamer. It's probably about 10 years old, and we've been doing hundreds of bronze castings with it on a regular basis here. And we mark up the bore, and it's miking right up at 1.5 inches, right on the money. This is a piece of 1.5 inches, and we put the mic on it, and we're getting right at 1.5 inches. And it feels like it could be hammered in, okay? So I'd say that our bore is pretty close to being right on the money as an 1.5 inch bore. Now the raw stock, the 12L14 material that we purchased to make these shafts, has been miking up anywhere between 2 and 1.5 thousandths under. So it's a pretty good combination, especially for a grease fitting. If it was oil, I would like to see a little closer to maybe 0.5 thousandths to 1 thousandths clearance, but 1.5 to 2 with a zerk grease fitting, I'm going to be happy with the fit up here. All right, we're starting now to turn our thread and the diameter to mount the saw arbor backing plate onto the main spindle, and we're going to be going for an interference fit here as well. It did press off pretty firm, and we got about 1/400 on that bore, and the diameter here 1/402. So they want 2 thousandths press on about 1.5 inch diameter, which is a pretty firm press. So we're getting ready to turn that now, and then we're going to have some left-hand threads, and these are oddballs because this is 1 3/8" 10 thread, which is not a standard, and it's also left-hand. So I'm going to show you a little bit of how I like to thread a left-hand thread as well. So let's get on the threading. Alright, we're all set up here, ready to do this left-hand number 10 1 3/8" diameter thread. And the one thing about setting up a thread is when doing a left-hand thread, instead of going upside down and running forward there, I keep my bit right side up, and I like to come in from the end of the thread out to the beginning of the thread. So the only difference is when I set 0 and my depth and all that, excuse me, I'm setting it at the end of my cut rather than at the beginning of my cut. So we got the dash. When I say dashboard dial indicator, it just means that I got a dial indicator here, and I've got a square tool post here on my compound, and I get a comfortable dial reading here. First I come in here and I get my dial set 0 here. I like to have where I'm comfortable to pull out on my dial. That's where I want this 0. So I come back in when I want to. I'm feeding to that 0. That's where I'm comfortable to pull out. It's more important when we're cutting threads the other direction. You want to get out of the material when you need to. But this point here, we're going to be actually leaving it in there. We're going to stop the feed. We're going to make our adjustment for our next cut at the end of each cut there. Here we go. We're just going to touch off. Alright, we got a 0 there, 0 on this. We're going to set 0 on this dial indicator. We like to actually be reading up here. It's psychological having 0 up at the top of the gauge, that's all. Alright. Now we come out here, we're going to make a test pass, and we've got our fishtail. We know the total depth is 130. We're going to be about 165 per side at finished depth. We got our gauge here set at 10. We've confirmed 10 with the nut, 10 with the shaft, and now we're ready to go. Alright, so we come out a little bit, come over here before our line, and this is where I don't really stop. I started a little bit ahead because I'm going to engage the half nut and then put the tool bit in at the right time. So we're engaged, engaged. Alright, now we're cutting, double checking here. We got 10 threads per inch. Okay, now here's where we do our adjustment or feed for our next cut. And I go ahead and I dial in 10. Having this dial indicator going straight in gives me a 100% true reading of depth per side. And then a more true line to my reading as the fishtail recommends, than coming in at 60 degrees, which is a percentage of full depth. Alright, now I back this out. I come back over here to a starter position. Bring the slop out of my handle. I like to see that I'm off the surface there. We're going to give it a little bit of lubrication right here. We're going to engage. We'll come in with that line and get ready, and we go.